What's up, everybody? So, commenting on this Carmelo and Austin Metcalf situation. It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Um, Back in the day, there's in high school, you saw fights every day. Almost, you know. Hell, even sometimes you saw kids, it was 201, 301, whatever. Everybody was fighting with their fist, though. I know during the 90s, after the school shootings and stuff like that, some schools started having metal detectors. A lot of schools reinforced their policies that there's a zero tolerance for weapons in school or on any school premises facility. That would include track fields, football fields, basketball courts. You're not allowed to possess a weapon. My whole thing with this situation is, why did Carmelo have a knife with him at a track meet? What was the reason? What was the need? Do I think Carmelo will go to jail for this? More than likely. Here's the thing. Self-defense, the claim of self-defense only works if your life is in danger. A conflict that took 30 seconds to transpire before somebody was left dead. If there was never a knife in Carmelo's bag, we would not know either Carmelo's or Austin's name right now. That's full stop. These are juveniles. These are young men, not fully grown, not even like we know the brain isn't fully developed until we're about 25. And this is why minors get treated differently than adults. Do I think he deserves the death penalty? I don't. No, it's not. These are kids. And it doesn't seem like Carmelo was one of those lost youths that was destined to commit a crime or anything. It's really sad and unfortunate that parents in the modern age haven't taught the kids enough that, look, we can't guarantee you're going to go through life without running into situations where a fight might ensue. Just because a fight might ensue doesn't mean your life's in danger. And just as a parent talking to my kids, just to, because I can't always be there, something I would, I do have kids, and I instill in them is that we never attack someone with a weapon. Unless you are actually, your life's in physical danger. Like, look, the thing we're missing here is whether Austin had a right to tell them to leave their team's tent, go to your own team's tent, or whatever the hell it was. And even if Carmelo vehemently, not like vermin, but like aggressively rebuked his demand or whatever, and even if Austin did go to like push him away or grab his stuff and like oh, you're not gonna move, I'm gonna move your stuff, there's no ground for perceiving a life-threatening event to where you would need to respond by reaching into your bag, taking out a knife, and stabbing somebody. Like, that's, if this is how juveniles behaved, there would be stabbings multiple times every single day. Okay, this is why we were taught to be men back in the day. Like, you were told by our fathers, if you got a problem with someone, if they punch you, punch them back in the fucking mouth. But you settle it with these. You settle it with these. Now, if we find a video and the video shows that Carmelo was getting jumped by 2 or more people and they had him in a position to where they were going to induce extreme bodily harm upon him, then there's a case for self-defense. But right now, there's no evidence to point that his life was in danger. And so that means there's no grounds for self-defense in a deadly manner. People want to point to Daniel Perry. Daniel Perry was protected in the third person. Other witnesses there even testified on behalf of Daniel Perry, including black women, that he thought he was acting on the behalf to protect other people. And also, you have to realize Daniel did, when you take a weapon, if I were to take a gun and shoot you, if I take a knife and I stab you, that's criminal intent. Subduing somebody who's a threat is not the same thing as stabbing. Like I can subdue you. I can even knock you out. To knock you unconscious. You're not going to die. But I know if I stab you and you start bleeding, you could bleed out. I know if I shoot you, it could hit your heart, hit your artery, whatever it is. That's dead. That's deadly intent. If you guys want to go back to the whole Zimmerman's not even freaking white. And most of us wanted Zimmerman to face the death penalty, right? So stop making this a race thing. Okay, I don't like seeing kids. I don't care what race a kid is. It's a kid. I cannot, even these bullies nowadays where I see these kids ganging up on one fucking person, they're on the ground and they're getting their head kicked. That's brain injuries can be for life. If we find a video and they had Carmelo on the ground and they were kicking at him and then okay, then fine. But a simple oh, my ego, fuck you, I'm not moving, make me, and that's another thing. If you are armed and in a situation and the other person isn't armed, but you provoke them knowing that if provoked, you will use said thing, again, that's not self-defense, that's provocation. Should this be murder one though? No, it's not. He didn't premeditate murdering this kid. I would say maybe a manslaughter case, because I feel you can argue that it was in the heat of the moment, and even though that's not the definition of self-defense, he honestly thought he was defending himself, and I get it. But my whole fucking point though is if there was never a fucking weapon involved, even if they started fist fighting, the coaches and parents would have broke them up and they both would have been home and none of us would know their names today.